Okay, so let me ask you a question. And I know you don't have the answer to this. But why is the CW trying to make me hate Black Lightning? I'll explain to you what I'm talking about right after the intro. Welcome back to the DL Jones Book Show. I'm your host, DL Jones, and on this channel, I talk about all types of story related topics. Could be stories from movies, TV shows, books, video games, audiobooks, anything that has a story could potentially be a topic on this show. So, now that we got that out the way, let's talk about what my little gripe that I have right now. Now, this gripe is with the TV show Black Lightning, and not necessarily the TV show as a whole, but particularly the character Jefferson, the main character Black Lightning. And it's not his fault. It's not Cress Williams' fault. It's not the way the character is portrayed. It's not the acting or anything like that. It is how the show is choosing to portray the character as far as some of his actions. That's really annoying to me. If you remember a while back, or if you don't remember, go ahead and click the card right there where it's a link to a video where I talk about some of my most hated story tropes. Now, one of the story tropes that I talk about that I hate is the trope where you have the character, which is, a lot of times it's a son or a daughter or something where, let's say the family is in trouble. There's the main character who's, let's say it's the husband. He's out, he's done something wrong. Now somebody's coming after his family, so he goes and he calls the family, calls the wife, calls the mom, calls the daughter, or whoever the case may be, to tell them to get out the house, because he know that whoever wants to get at him is going to go after his family, and they're on his way to his house now to go get to his family. So when he go to the house and try to get to the family, of course, the family, you always have that one person. Usually it's a daughter, sometimes it's the wife or something, or a son or something, that don't listen. They don't want to leave. They're like, I'm not going anywhere until you tell me why. They're doing that, just being difficult. And they do that in the show, in my interpretation of it. They do that just to bring some artificial friction, to not make it too easy for him to keep his family safe, and I hate those type of things. I hate like artificial friction that is just brought up on the show just for the sole purpose of creating artificial friction. And they're doing that a lot in Black Lightning, especially this season. I can't remember. I can't say I've noticed it happening a lot up until this season. First of all, let me talk about Black Lightning. Now, Black Lightning, as far as how I feel about the show, it's actually, as far as season number 1 and number 2, at that time when those 2 seasons were going on, that was my favorite superhero CW show. I really liked the show. I think season 1 was probably some of the best CW superhero television out that's ever been. Season 2, I liked the same. Season 3, I kind of fell off a little bit. They went into that thing where they was doing all of this, inside language baseball type stuff, going in circles, and it kind of lost me a little bit. I kind of got back into it towards the end of that season when they was wrapping up that one storyline. And now you got season 4, which sadly is going to be the last season. And it's a shame because I really like the show. I don't want to see it go anywhere. I would like to see a couple more seasons. But season 4, the season is going on now, will be the last season. But anyway, season 4, I'm into the season, but the thing that I don't like about this season is that but due to what happened at the end of season 3, Jefferson is kind of being a baby. He's kind of like complaining all the time. He's moping around. He's always arguing with his wife about stuff, and it's kind of unreasonable. And it's just annoying because you look at Black Lightning sort of like he's the leader of the family. He's the guy that's teaching everybody how to use the powers. He's the one that's the savior of Freeland, which is the town that they live in. And he's also like the dominant member of the family. He's the one everybody looks to do things. They look to for guidance. They look to for leadership and all of this kind of stuff. But you have him kind of moping around like a baby, and he's being unreasonable. And, it's like, it's just really annoying because you don't want to see your character, the one that you're supposed to be looking up to, being the baby. You know what I'm saying? And it's really annoying. So here we go. This episode that came on last night or the night before last, whatever night it was. And of course, if you haven't noticed, the character that plays Lightning, the daughter in the show, the daughter's name is Jen, and she also plays the superhero Lightning. She decided she was going to leave the show. She decided it last season. Everybody knew, it's not a surprise, and they kind of built it into the script. And they did a really good way of changing her, because what they did was they recasted her. They didn't just exit the character, they didn't kill her off or anything. They recast her, and they came up with a really good way of doing so. I thought it was pretty good, and I don't know if they planned this whole thing out in preparation for her to leave, or they took something that was already being planned and kind of shoehorned in her leaving the show. Whichever, it doesn't matter, because it works. It works out. But in the show, what happens is that the character Jennifer, she always goes up to the ionosphere, and she does something where she kind of partially turns her body into energy, and it kind of gives her a rush. It's sort of like a high, it's sort of like a drug, and she does it. She is a purpose for it. When she does that, it heals her, but she also kind of get a rush for it, and she just goes up there, sort of like if someone was to, get drunk or use drugs or something like that. They keep warning her about it, saying it is dangerous and all of this stuff. And she kept saying, no, it's fine, it's fine. So what ends up happening is that she goes up to the ionosphere, and she kind of partially turns her body into energy, and she loses control of it, and her body's just dispersed, so she's just a cloud of energy particles in the ionosphere. And what ended up having to happen is Black Lightning has to go up and absorb all of her energy particles into his body, which was a dangerous thing to do, because there was, as far as the show, he wasn't supposed to have the capacity to be able to hold all of that energy. So he fought through it, and he did it, and he held the energy. So then they bring her back down, and they put the energy into this machine. And this machine is supposed to be sort of like some kind of reconstruction machine. It's supposed to slowly reconstruct her energy together to bring her back, put all of the particles together and restructure her and bring her back. They wasn't sure if it was going to work or not. They played on that for a little bit, but it was like a waiting game. It was like they had to, I want to say it was about an episode, where they was having a waiting game, waiting to see that for the timer to run out for her body to be reconfigured and restructured and everything before they knew if it worked. So when it did work, her body was reconstructed, and it was successful. When she stepped out of the machine, she looked completely different, which was awesome, because that was a good way of changing the character. It was an explanation that didn't seem kind of far-fetched for the show. And the explanation they give is that, even though the DNA, it is the same person and everything, it just manifested her appearance in a different way, which was pretty good. Now, the part that kind of made me upset was, already been a couple of episodes where Jefferson and his wife has been fighting. He's kind of been unreasonable with her, and basically he's doing it because he feels guilty about what happened in the last season, So he's kind of like just being huffy puffy, walking around pouting and just doing some silly stuff that kind of make you angry already. I'm like, will he just get over it so we can see Black Lightning again, So we're going through all of that. So his daughter comes back, Everybody's kind of shocked to see that the daughter looks different, but they're happy that she's there because, of course, everybody thought she was dead. And, and she's kind of upset because she's like, she doesn't know what's going on. Why does she look different and all of this kind of stuff? So after everybody kind of have like a talk about it and they get over the initial shock of what's going on, they all come together. They're like, you're still my daughter, you're still my sister, everything like that. And they're giving her hugs and all of this stuff. And then Jefferson, Black Lightning, they're looking for him to do the same thing. And he kind of just looks at her and then turns his head and walks off, And I'm like, what in the world? Why why does he still got to carry this baby act on? You know, he's the person that everybody's supposed to be looking to bring them all together, not the one that's storming out the room like a child, you know. And it just made me so angry, you know. Luckily, the episode kind of ended with him changing his tune, and it ended happy at the end. But it was just that, you know, that point of him storming out the room, while all of the other things that was going on, him moping around and stuff, it just made it so annoying. And I'm like, are they purposely trying to make me hate Black Lightning? Are they purposely trying to make me hate Jefferson when I do like the show? I really like the show a lot, but they're making me dislike the main character so much with all of this silliness, you know. But, you know, at the end of this episode, you know, they kind of, you know, brought everything back. They made everything right. And I hope that that's the end of their little tantrum they got Jefferson throwing, you know, because it's kind of annoying. It's like, we're like, what, like 4 or 5 episodes into this season, and pretty much the whole season so far, he's just been throwing a baby temper tantrum throughout the whole series. And they need to get over that. I hope they do. I hope that that was the end of it and he gets back to being, you know, the Black Lightning that I enjoyed watching in the first 2 seasons and you know, in, you know, a large part of the 3rd season, you know. But yeah, but other than that, you know, I really like the show. I really hate to see that they're going to end it. I'm kind of crossing my fingers, hoping that something will happen where they change their mind before the season is over with. I know that's not going to happen, but you never know, you know. Family Guy got canceled a couple times and came back, you know, so maybe this will too. Maybe they'll change their mind and come back. You know, I would love to see, especially with the new Superman and Lois show, I would love to see a couple of episodes where they have crossover with the Black Lightning team and Superman, you know, from the new Superman and Lois show. I would love to see something like that. Or just Black Lightning with anybody. They haven't really done too many crossovers with Black Lightning, you know, for a long period of time. Not an official crossover. Now they've had in the event last season or last year, Black Lightning showed up for a little while, but they didn't do like the real deal crossover like they do with Arrow and Flash. I want to see something like that with Black Lightning and somebody, you know. But I guess we may never see it. I don't know, unless something changed. But anyway, that was the topic of this show. I just wanted to kind of complain a little bit of how they doing Jefferson, you know, Black Lightning. Bring him back to the normal Black Lightning from season 1 and 2. I'm sick of this mopey, you know, kind of gloom and doom Jefferson that's running around now. Bring him back and make the episodes good again, you know. But that's it. That's all I had to say. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Congratulations, you made it to the end of the video. While you're here, why don't you check out that video right there? Or maybe that one right there. And while you're at it, go ahead and click that little picture of my image there and subscribe to my channel.